Hello everyone, Josh12 back again with another video. Today I talk all things AMC The Walking Dead. Now if you know me, then you would know I have a very love-hate relationship with The Walking Dead TV series. That makes me want to get up and beat the holy fucking shit out of someone and yell, motherfucking dick suck, cunt, fucking fuck, fucker, fucking fuck, fuckers. But that's just because I'm a passionate little boy. And with the end of Season 6 through Season 7, AMC has surprisingly brought Robert Kirkman's greatest comic book character to life, Negan, played by the amazing Jeffrey Dean Morgan, which for the most part, for true fans, have been a major win to finally get a new official, almost theatrical villain for Rick and the rest of the crew to combat. However, with the advent of the show's mid-season finale, leaving the survivors together as a unit again, and beginning on a long, rigorous mission to overthrow Negan, their oppressor, in the show's return in February, recently we received new information on the season's return, which is the show will plow ahead into the comics all-out war storyline. And I, personally, don't like that one fucking bit. Now, before shit gets crazy with the fan bases and communities before the return of the show, keep in mind, this is my personal thoughts, my objective opinions, I should say subjective opinions, and just my prediction, really, of what I think AMC is currently doing with the show moving forward, which could obviously end up being completely wrong and false. However, if I'm going to continue to have a voice in this platform and community we call YouTube, I'm going to say shit I feel fit whenever and however I want to say it, because this is my YouTube channel, and this is where the fun happens and the consequences come later. Words I fucking live by. Now, let's put it in perspective, real quick. Retrospective, almost. Negan, antagonist, main villain of the series, and the greatest, depending on who you ask. Rick, protagonist, main hero of the series, father, lover, leader of a community of survivors in a zombie apocalypse. Now, what is the significance of briefly explaining these characters? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because by the inception and reveal of the saviors in the Walking Dead comic series, Rick and the character of Negan have battled for the right to live in peace or fear for a major portion of the story, which developed possibly one of the greatest dynamics we haven't seen before or seen since in the Walking Dead comic series. And of course, these two characters, who are obviously on complete two ends and parallel to each other on a gigantic spectrum of right and wrong, yet who still complement and make each other greater characters. Sure, through sheer fear, violence, and murder, but great nonetheless. Through the years with AMC, we've had the Frank Darabont, Glenn Mazzara, and Scott Gimple eras with the series, and with Scott Gimple taking over the show post-Governor, Prisoner storyline, and Terminus Negan storylines beyond, we've gotten a much more almost comic book accurate series, if you will, to an extent, that still continues its original creative integrity that was started with the first 3 to 4 seasons of the TV show. Which brings us up to speed with Season 6 and 7's arrival of the almighty vulgar Negan, the Al Capone of the zombie apocalypse, if you will. And Season 7's premiere episode is, in my opinion, the single-handedly greatest episode of the show's run. Hands down. It is the best episode. I loved the show's return in Season 7. It had a great story, action, death, directing, visuals, and completely redeemed the horrendousness of that finale we got in the previous season. The episode was dark, blunt, emotional, and in your face. Exactly what the TV series desperately needed and what the comic book series has stood for up until this point. Unfortunately, a lot of other people don't agree with that opinion, with exceptions to hardcore fans and YouTubers who create reactions for the sole purpose to end up being noticed and shouted out by Skybound, which, of course, I'm not going to hate on you, but that's just kind of like where the spectrum of fan bases is currently at. Most people were pissed. Let's be honest here. They were pissed with the freaking show's premiere ratings tanked, fans hated Negan and want him dead, and the TV show lost more fans than Game of Thrones when Jon Snow died. Which, spoilers, he's not dead anymore. So, yeah.
Life goes on.
But unless Rick and company can get their hands on magic or dragons from Westeros, they are going to continue to live in a world of despair and dread. However, with all that being said, we have come full circle to the main purpose of this video I'm making currently. Even though I love the premiere of Season 7, AMC took a definitive hit for it and clearly took into effect. Seeing as how every episode, no matter how cool, comic booky, or fun, never came close to being as good or even capturing the epicness of that first episode of the season, which has a lot to do with everyone's inacceptance of the power/tonal shift in narrative of the story. When Negan and the Saviors left Rick and company in the dirt, we knew this was truly the new way of life, and nothing could be done about it. A moment of dread, not even the comic could evoke. In my personal opinion, unfortunately, every character in every episode except for Rick were ready for a rebellion against Negan regardless of how they could win. All it did was diminish the premiere. Granted, the comics had parallels with this, but the actions of watching living people acting it out distracts from what we should have been watching. A new life under a overbearing dictator. Instead, we got nothing but failed promises of a slow burn for favoring a clear-cut line of obvious tropes leading towards all-out war and the end of Negan's reign. In conclusion, for all I know, AMC could end up giving us great television. But in the end, I believe it's a fundamental mistake to go straight towards all-out war versus taking the time to fully flesh out everything that went down. From my perspective, AMC might end up just doing what they did with previous stories and seasons, which is tease it at the end of a season, spend a full season of life in battle, end off with a cliffhanger, start with a bang, and then end it all with a mid-half season. Rinse, recycle, repeat. But with that being said and done, I hope everyone has enjoyed my little riff on Walking Dead. I personally wanted to just take the time to make a new Walking Dead video, mostly to redeem myself from that horrendous reaction I did back into with the start of the season. But at the end of the day, look, I have hope that they could do some great things with the show with All Out War, but at its core, I believed that all we can really expect with the rest of Season 7 moving onward, the rest of the season will just be all-out war. Season 8, the first half, will be possibly full-on all-out war, maybe the end of it, and then the rest of it will just be filler leading into what we can call the Whisperers. And that's okay, but we've seen that done already, and All-Out War is a very big, giant story that has a lot of players and it has a lot of building that you can really do extensively with a TV series. You can really let things breathe and not really focus on shitty bottled episodes, but actually do some legitimate story building and character deconstruction. If I can give any update on future Walking Dead videos I might end up doing, first off, the show will be returning very soon. I'll possibly end up doing reviews. I don't know. We'll see what happens, how good the series comes back, strong or not. And of course, if there's something I really want to work on, Paul definitely knows. It is, of course, my definitive nail on the coffin on my Daryl Dixon closeted homosexual conspiracy theory. I know I've been talking a lot about it on the podcast, and I finally want to do it. I want to make a video on Daryl Dixon, the character that we all know and love of AMC's The Walking Dead, secretly being a closeted homosexual. I want to make that video. I don't care how, I don't care when, I don't care how much shit I'll get for it. I believe it to be true, and you cannot deny the truth. Daryl Dixon is a possible homosexual character that's living in fear, and that's all I'm going to say right now. Spoilers, there's a video coming up of me talking shit about that. Let us begin the hate train. Please comment below, let me know what you personally think about everything I had to state, and of course, subscribe to my channel. Most importantly, the most important thing about watching these videos is hitting that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed. And this has been Josh12.